So good afternoon, YouTube. My name is Mike, and this is the first video on my new channel. What we're going to be talking about today is classic cars. It's particularly one that I just came across, not recently, for a good price, and it's something that's kind of rare. You don't see them around very much anymore, but kind of took some hints from Uncle Tony's garage and some of his videos he did, and decided to throw a video about my vehicle that I'm working on right now. What you see before you is a 1967 AMC Rambler 220. It says it's an AMC American 220. The VIN number is giving me some problems, but I'm still trying to figure that out. It is licensed as an AMC Rambler American Rambler. It's got the 199 cubic inch, one valve, one barrel carburetor, straight six. Pushing about 100, I believe 38 horsepower. Not a bad little engine. I've been chasing some problems down, so I've been working on it for the past couple of weeks. Timing when I first got it was all out of whack. She was way out of time. Had to do some real serious research on it. The book says 10 degrees before advanced with the vacuum hooked up at idle, and all the other tech manuals said 6 degrees or 5 degrees depending on the distributor. So I had to do some research. Found out the happy spot on this vehicle is about 10 degrees. It does not have the factory carb on it. The factory carb was a Holley 1930. This is actually a Holley model 1920 with a heat stove operated choke system. Unfortunately, the choke heat stove, we'll actually show you real quick, is actually broke on this. I actually have to figure out a replacement for this to get the choke working. I've got it locked out right now. I'm in Florida, so it's 90 to 100, 80, 90 degrees down here. I usually don't worry about the choke. But it looks like somebody in the past over-tightened the choke stove down. Heat pipe for the choke stove runs from here, comes across the top, and runs into this little port right here. This is a heat pipe, runs down through and up under the exhaust manifold to provide heat to the thermal coil that's built into the choke. I'll put that back on later. A couple other issues I ran into it when we first started playing with it. Charging system had some issues. Turns out down here the diode, this is a 35 amp Motorola alternator with a diode bridge on it. The diode bridge on this alternator, I'm not sure if it's because the belt stretched out. It's nice and tight, but when at idle, I had to notch it right here because at idle it would actually contact the steering gearbox and you would see it sparking. So what I did is I took my bench grinder, put a notch in there to clearance it just a little bit without damaging the actual structure. A couple other issues I've ran into so far that I'm still chasing. I have an oil leak. It's time to do a rebuild on this fuel pump or get a new one. It is a two-stage fuel pump, interestingly enough. The top part is actually a vacuum booster pump to run the windshield wipers. These are vacuum operated windshield wipers. They actually work really well. The bottom part's a fuel pump. As you can see, it does have an oil leak coming from it. It looks like the diaphragm seal inside of it, there's an O-ring seal to separate the two halves, is leaking and it's coming out the weep hole. The seats in this vehicle, as you saw before, are not the original seats. As close as I can figure, these seats are either out of a early 70s AMC Ambassador or possibly a Cadillac, but I have not found any production dates or production numbers on the seats. The soft top does go up and down on it. Soft top's actually in fairly decent condition. Right now I've got it down because I've had it under the garage working on it. A couple interesting things about it, other than the fact that it's a hydraulic system. It is an electrical driven hydraulic system. Hydraulic pumps actually behind the back seat. It works fantastic, no issues. For something that was built back in the 60s and hydraulic system and electrical, that's saying something. That's actually really good. All my gauge, I've got my alternator. All the gauges are actually working, with exception of my coolant temperature gauge. Coolant temperature gauge, I still have to chase this down and figure it out. If you notice there's some tape here, I've actually got the lenses ordered through AMC Live, I believe it's AMClive.com. They're about $5. The lenses for this is the high beam. This is a brake warning light. It actually has like most modern vehicles, it has a brake differential switch down here on the bottom, as well as a brake pressure switch. And I think I can't see the brake switch right now, but it's got two different brake switches on it to control your brakes. If one of those switches detects there's a differential issue, then it'll actually kick the warning light on up there on the side. Let's see here, what else? Right now you'll see the carpet in the bottom here is took out partially. The switch for, ignore janky previous owner wiring. One other thing I got to fix, that's actually the top, soft top switch. Soft top switch does work, but what's missing, one of the clips, so I'm trying to source some clips for it so I can remount it in this location with the bracket that is right here. I'm gonna polish that up. I gotta find those little clips right there. It actually holds a switch into this and then holds this whole unit into that location right there. But back on topic, right here is the dimmer switch. Could not figure out why the dimmer switch wasn't working. Pulled it out and I realized the dimmer switch was locked up solid, so the dimmer switch is pulled out right now. I've got a new one on order. It'll be in probably later this week. The floorboards are surprisingly in good shape for something this old. I don't have any real, some dirt, but I don't actually have any rust in the floor pan, surprisingly. Vehicle was garage kept, came from Ohio. One of the other issues I'm having that I've got to replace, and when I start working on it, I'll have someone else take video of it while I'm doing it, is the actual brake cable is seized up. It's not actually seized up in the rear, it's seized up in the cable itself. So I've got a new brake cable in the back of the vehicle right now. That'll be another thing I put in. Other than that, walk around to the vehicle, there's a few things that I have to work on. Let me grab the keys. It's going to be a running project. This is probably the second oldest vehicle that I've personally owned, and one of the it's gonna be one of my more enjoyable vehicles to work on. I've already got the motor and transmission running nice and solid, and I would start it up right now, but as you see, I've got some things torn apart in the dashboard while I'm trying to rewire some stuff. But the trunk, one previous owner, I guess, had the trunk pan actually had some rust, which looks like I think it was coming through back here where the soft top comes in at. So what he did is, when the original factory AMC tank went out, he cut the original AMC tank and got a Mustang 2 fuel tank and bolted it directly in. This leaks right here, this stupid hose he made. So this is going to get replaced. It actually leaks but at the junction right here when you fill it. So that's going to be something I've got to work on. And then various wiring things back here. I'm going to clean the wiring up a little bit. And then finally, paint job looks pretty good. Oh, sorry, keys were in the way. Until you realize that whoever painted it outdoors. So it has some serious orange peel issue. The body lines are fairly straight, except for this right here. If you look, the hinge right here, upper hinge, has actually got one of the bolts loose. It'd be something I'll be replacing, getting in there and tearing the interior panels out. But my plan for this is to clean it up as good as possible. Get it into a serviceable condition where I can use it as a daily driver or a weekend drive with me and my significant other. But that's pretty much for the intro for the vehicle. As I come into more things, I'll be showing it around. Some other YouTubers I want to freaking reach out to and say thanks for some of the advice they've given me in the past. Uncle Tony's Garage is one of them. Uncle Tony, I've known Mr. Tony DeFeo via text message, Facebook, so on and so forth for probably 10-15 years. Dallas at AHRA, American Hot Rod Association. Yep, I got a rep in AHRA as well, and Uncle Tony. Two of them have been very good influences on me, and they've been a wealth of knowledge for when I'm running to other issues. If you get a chance, go check out AHRA website. Go check out Uncle Tony's Garage. Another one's Mopar Al. He's part of the Uncle Tony's network. Go check him out as well. Give him a look, give him a like, subscribe. Other than that, have a great day.